I just remembered I have this variant of Spider-Man 2 issue 1, and obviously it's got a digital code inside, so let's find it. Go to the Marvel website, type that code in for free, and you will get the digital version of Spider-Man 2 issue 1 for free. But obviously it's first come, first serve, so whoever gets it first, I hope you enjoy it. I probably should have given away that last week, but you know. What is going on, guys? Welcome to this video. My name is Cameron and this is the review for Spider-Man 2 issue 2. Now obviously before we get into anything, in the previous video I did a giveaway for Spider-Man 2 issue 1 on my Instagram. The link's in the description. I have now announced the winner, so go and see if it's your name that I've actually tagged on the picture, and well, yeah, if you're the winner, then awesome, congratulations. Now sadly I don't have a giveaway for this review, but what I do have
are a very particular set of skills.
Is another giveaway in my Ultimate Spider-Man issue 88 review, where I'm giving away the Miles Morales Spider-Man pop figure. Go check it out, link is below. But anyway, now to get into what we're actually on this video for. Spider-Man 2 issue 2. What is going to happen in it? Well, first let's recap and see what actually happened. So in the previous issue, we saw Spider-Man and Miles Morales come together to see Taskmaster coming through the portal from God knows where, not really know what's going on, and we also got a slight look at what looked to be an older version or even an evil version of Miles Morales. We was also introduced to a possible future love interest for Miles Morales known as Barbara Rodriguez, and I'm actually really looking forward to that. It's been a few years since Miles Morales has actually had a proper girlfriend. Back when we were in the Miles Morales The Ultimate Spider-Man comics, which was before Secret Wars, which is technically a couple of years ago now. So yeah, Miles needs a girlfriend. Something that was really awesome from the previous issue was that the art style from the original Spider-Man series has returned with Sara Pichelli, and of course the same writer with Brian Michael Bendis. All of the team is back. It's awesome. It feels like the continuation from the first Spider-Man series to this one has happened like that. There hasn't been a 5-year gap, even though there has, but it doesn't feel like it. So it's awesome that we're actually getting into this issue 2 of this series. I can't wait. So without any further ado, guys, I'm sure you guys are dying to see what happens next as well. So let's get into it. Let's review this issue. So finally getting into Spider-Man 2 issue 2, and it picks up directly from where the previous issue left off, with Taskmaster coming through the portal in front of Miles Morales and Peter Parker. And right off the bat we are getting that awesome exchange between Peter Parker and Miles Morales when they're both telling jokes, because now they are both Spider-Man, so we can expect humour from both characters. And I just love how they bounce off each other's sense of humour, where Peter will say something and then Miles will say something even funnier, and then it'll go back to Peter Parker and so on, and they just work really well together in terms of just infuriating their enemies. Something I brought up in the review for the previous issue as well is that the art style is very nostalgic to the original Spider-Man series 5 years ago. It actually feels like no time has passed at all, and this is the continuation from the first series, which of course it is, but it doesn't feel like any time's passed, and that is a pretty crazy thing to think about, because all they've done is just kept the art style pretty much the same, and it works so well, especially as a reader of the original Spider-Man series when it first released. It is really great just to kind of jump back into this Spider-Man series as if no time has passed at all. But anyway, getting into the issue and what's happening on screen, as you can see, Taskmaster has just referred to someone over the phone as Miles Morales. And of course, at the end of the previous issue, we saw what looked to be an older version of Miles Morales. Maybe it's one from the future, maybe it's someone from an alternate timeline, maybe it's an evil Miles Morales. And to be honest, I am leaning towards the evil Miles Morales just because he's in cahoots with Taskmaster. But it does seem like there is a lot more to this than we actually know about right now. So I am getting the feeling that this entire Spider-Man 2 series is revolving around this other Miles Morales and our Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales. So yeah, we're still in the dark about a few things and nothing too much is being revealed just yet, but it's getting a lot more interesting. As for Miles' reaction to that, I actually thought that it was really interesting how Miles was camouflaged in the background and overheard this conversation, and then as soon as he heard his own name mentioned, he freaked out, and I think that was an adequate reaction coming from Miles Morales, because obviously he's Spider-Man, so he doesn't hear his own name mentioned by a villain that he's fighting too often. Now, as a reader of this comic book series, and of course coming over from the Ultimate Spider-Man comics of Miles Morales and the Amazing Spider-Man comics with Peter Parker, it's really infuriating as a reader when Peter Parker doesn't actually believe Miles at first, kind of suggests that maybe it was something else that he heard and stuff like that, because you know that Peter Parker has found himself in situations like this before where he said something and someone hasn't believed him, but it actually has happened. And so for Peter to actually suggest that it could have been something different is really infuriating as a long-time Spider-Man reader, just because you know that Peter Parker has found himself in situations like this before that Miles is currently in right now. But we also did get that long-awaited confirmation of what actually happened at the end of the original Spider-Man series when Peter Parker searched up the 616 universe's Miles Morales' name on the internet, and we've discovered that it literally came back with nothing. And so that's why it's so crazy. So anyway, moving on throughout the issue, you can see that we are now joining Miles Morales talking to Barbara Rodriguez. And of course, we've met her character before in the Spider-Man Miles Morales comic book series. And it seems like their relationship is progressing very well, especially because Miles has technically just asked her out on a date, and so it's going to be interesting to see where that takes them. And I'm really looking forward to it because the last time Miles was in a relationship properly was back in the Miles Morales The Ultimate Spider-Man comic series a couple of years ago. One of the things that you've got to remember as well is that this comic is taking place a week prior to the present day. So if you remember in the previous issue, Peter Parker and Miles Morales were hung upside down above a burning plane, and then it bounced back to a week ago where we met Taskmaster. And so right now we're on 5 days ago, and you can see that Miles Morales has met Peter Parker in their casual clothes outside of their Spider-Man costumes for the very first time. But we can see that Peter Parker is indeed introducing Miles Morales to the famous private detective known as Jessica Jones. And if you've been reading the Spider-Man Miles Morales comic book series, you'll know that Miles Morales and Jessica Jones have already met before. And what you would also know is that Jessica Jones is one of the best detectives out there completely in the entire world, and even she couldn't find anything on Miles Morales. So that means that it is a very strange situation at the fact that there is no other information on any other Miles Morales in the world at all. So on that revelation, we bounce back to the present day, back where Peter Parker and Miles Morales have been hung upside down above a burning plane. Miles sprinting after this aeroplane that's getting away with Taskmaster in the plane, and what was at the time unknown to us, the older version of Miles Morales is sat on that plane with Taskmaster making their getaway. And as they bring up the CCTV security cameras for the airport, we can see Peter Parker and Miles Morales taking off the mask and all this crazy stuff, and we've got the older version of Miles Morales actually threatening Taskmaster to kill both Miles and Peter Parker. And what's really strange as well is that Miles Morales just took off his Spider-Man mask on CCTV of the airport, so that's quite worrying just in general. Like, is that something that the writers didn't think of? Like, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but as always, this older version of Miles Morales looks super scary, and it looks like he's got some crazy plans, or at least something that he's been working on for a while. Like, he said that he's tried to avoid this certain situation before or something like that, so it's going to be interesting to see what comes out and what is revealed in the next issue. But that is the end of this comic, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Now back to Cameron in front of the camera. So that issue was awesome, but one of the main gripes I actually had with the issue was that we didn't really learn too much else about it. We kind of just, it feels like we just kind of stayed in place, like we didn't really learn anything super major about the progress of the story or whatever's happening. Like, we still don't know who the future Miles Morales is, or the evil one, and we don't really know why Taskmaster is there. But the comic did continue from the previous issue with Miles and Peter Parker watching Taskmaster come through the portal, confront him, have a little bit of a fight with him, and then we heard Taskmaster mention Miles Morales' name. So it's been confirmed that Taskmaster is indeed working with this evil 616 Miles Morales or something like that. So it's pretty crazy, and I don't really know what to think about the entire situation. Like, is this older Miles Morales from the future? Is he from an alternate universe? Is he an evil mastermind? Like, what is going on with him? So it's quite obvious that Brian Michael Bendis as the writer isn't giving away too much too early, but it feels like we've still got a few things to surprise us, like something is going to come up soon. And one thing that I just want to take note about was that at the end of the issue there, the older version of Miles Morales did say that he would kill Taskmaster if he doesn't kill Peter Parker and Miles Morales. So that means that this older version of Miles Morales does actually have the power to kill Taskmaster. So does he have spider powers as well? Is he Spider-Man Miles Morales from the future? Like, is it like that whole thing from Spider-Man Edge of Time, the game, you know, like where the older Peter Parker is like the bad guy, like, if you get what I mean? Do you remember that? Now, even though we didn't get a lot of progress with the overall story of this Spider-Man 2 series, what we did get some progress on was the relationship between Barbara Rodriguez and Miles Morales kind of forming a relationship. Miles asked Barbara out on a date and she seemed pretty nice about it, as if she actually was waiting for him to ask this. So I can't wait to see where that leads, because obviously, as you guys know, I am super excited about Miles having another love interest, because his previous love interest from a couple of years ago was really awesome. She had awesome hair, she had like this pink slash blackish brownish hair thing going on, it was really cool. So I'm interested to see what kind of personality and appearance that Barbara Rodriguez could have, like see her personality shine through in these comics. I also think what's really cool as well is the fact that Peter Parker is sort of warming up to Miles a little bit more. I mean, Peter actually hung out with Miles in their casual like clothes, like they went to Jessica Jones, and Miles has never actually seen Peter Parker in his casual gear before outside of the Spider-Man costume. So it seems like they're actually forming a relationship outside of their superhero, and if you get what I mean. So it could lead to some interesting scenarios in the future maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Something that I didn't mention in the review was that I was a little bit sad about when Peter said that when he did search up Miles Morales' name at the end of Spider-Man and nothing came up about Miles Morales in the 616 universe. That was a little bit sad, just because there was all this build up for like the last 5 years about who Miles Morales could have been, and it's revealed that it came back with nothing. Like, that seems like a little bit of an anticlimactic like reveal, but I'm hoping that it leads to something that's truly crazy. So I don't know. Either way, I'm eager to find out, but in the meantime guys, I'm going to have to rate this issue. Now I'm leaning towards more of like a 7 out of 10 because we didn't really go anywhere in terms of progress with the story, but I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna edge up to that 8 out of 10 because of that relationship between Barbara Rodriguez and Miles actually moving forwards. I mean, at least we got something like that, and nothing else has been revealed about the older version of Miles, but like, I can live with that. If they reveal something else in the next issue, then I'll be happy, but if they don't, then I'm gonna be depressed. So anyway guys, that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for enjoying the issue. Make sure you hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button for more. Let me know what you thought about the comic in the comment section below, and also don't forget about the giveaway winner for Spider-Man 2 issue 1 on my Instagram. The link is in the description. Go and see if you've won it, and yeah. Also don't forget about the giveaway on Ultimate Spider-Man issue 88 with this guy. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. See you later.